had to save them, that they might have a chance to find true salvation by devoting themselves to the service of their Lord. Just as I did when the Undying plucked me from the gutter and gave me a cause to believe in, a duty to serve was everything to me, and I would not deny them that fulfillment, even if they must become a Kashik in order to achieve it. Forgive me, my Lord Marquis. I did not mean to trouble you with this. My findings. Could you deliver them to Master Cyril for me?
Of course. Your duty will be done.
Look, my lord. They are saved.
That's depressing.
They are saved. Found her. I should get this report to Cyril.
Welcome, welcome. Anything else? A fine choice. Come again.
My Lord Marquis, welcome back. I am glad to see you hale and whole.
I met with your third chair, Cyril. He bade me deliver his findings to you.
Thank you, my lord. He remained in Ash?
He died protecting the villagers from an echo. I buried him in Mickelberg. I'm sorry that I couldn't save him.
If you could not save him, no one could.
The villagers, they were believers in this savior cult. They prayed to their god that they might be unburdened of their wills. Then an ether flood came, and their wish was granted. Your brother sacrificed himself that they might live, even knowing that that life was death by another name.
Then he perished defending liberty. A hero's end. For the right to choose how one dies is no less sacred than the right to choose how one lives.
Sid would agree. He wanted to build a world where people could die on their own terms.
A noble ambition. To die for one's cause is the most perfect expression of one's faith. It matters not how misguided others might judge one's decision to be. Only that the decision is one's own. We live according to the teachings of our order. We believe in them, we protect them, and yes, we die for them. For better or worse, that is our creed.
He said creed.
But he didn't die for your creed. He died to save them. And you still believe that what he did was right.
I believe that he believed it was. We of the Undying are not slaves, but willing servants. And this was his will, the ultimate expression of it.
All right. I'd like to know this man's name, Cyril. To know the names of all the Undying who've fallen in the line of duty. They died serving my house. It's only right that I remember them. That is my duty.
Of course. I shall fetch the Book of Martyrs at once. My lord, it has been, and shall ever be, the greatest honor of my life to serve House Rosfield. Though our duties may differ, yours is no less important. I pray with all my heart for your success. And were they here, I have no doubt but that every one of my fallen brothers and sisters would feel the same.
The emblem of the Undying headquarters in Tebar. The village is home to the finest leather makers, lapatries in Dalmekia, who are little aware that their affable new neighbors are members of a secret society sworn to serve the Phoenix. Assassinos! They're assassins! Assassins! Collect 6 signboards. Okay. Alright, so we need to go back to Walud. Watch this behemoth dude be like fucking way higher. Oh no, he's the same level as me. Hey, how's it going? It's going good. Oh god. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. I'm dodging it just by staying in the air. Uh-oh. Woo. Oh, I couldn't see. I couldn't gauge the timing of that. Whew. How many of these orichalcums do I have?
No match for you, eh, Torgal?
Alright, now we got these two missions here. Hold on. How many of these have I been getting through these missions? That's like my... I think that was like my 5th orichalcum that I ended up grabbing. Yep. I have 5 of them now. I feel like there's an item that I can make, but I still need to collect the 2 bounties left over. Which one are we going first? This one's closer. Let's go to this one first, and then we'll move over to the one to the left. They hit me with so many side missions. I just thought I would be like finishing up the game at this point, but no. Instead of us going to fight God himself, no, we're gonna go do all this extra stuff instead. Get us hyped up to go fight freaking Ultima, and what we end up getting is, oh no, we don't get to do that. No, we gotta.
The entire village looks abandoned.
We gotta do all this instead.
Which house would a bookworm live in?
What is that in the barn? I want that. It's shiny. I must grab it. You know what? That's actually very useful for me right now. Yeah, it is kind of typical for RPGs to do that, where they just throw you with so much side missions, but they usually set it there's a thing called placement or pacing, and this game has a weird pacing issue when it comes to that, where it gets you hyped up for like the encounter with like key figures in the story, and then all of a sudden it just says, yeah, no, we're not gonna let you just go straight into that, even though we just kind of got you hyped up and excited to do that. We're gonna make you do all these side stuff instead of putting it before all that. That way you feel like, you know, like the story, like there's more like you're more like impacted by the story, I guess, if it makes it. I don't think that's the right way of explaining that, but that's how it feels. It feels like that if they had just moved where the side missions are in the story to better fit for like the really bigger important parts, like when you're encountering, like, let's say Titan, for example, right before actually going and fight Hugo, you get hit with like a bunch of side missions similar to this. It's like I'd rather have the side missions before having to go and deal with Hugo, like before talking to somebody in the main scenario, and then it opens up and like, oh, here's all these new side missions. I would have had it beforehand. That way I can talk my way through the main missions and get to the meat and the neat and gritty of it. The Mogul. No spirit or sprite appears more often in the Philistine folktales than the humble Mogul, though they are occasionally painted as mischievous souls akin to pixies or imps. Most stories depict them as clumsy yet incognito spirits who delight in helping mankind with their daily labors. Except for the one Mogul in Dissidia, that if you played Dissidia, I remember this very well. I still have my copies of Dissidia and Duradecim. If you get Duradecim and you talk to the Moogle in a specific way, the Moogle will think that you're arrogant and put you in a fight that you basically cannot win. You'll fight against a level 99 I forgot what the enemy was called, but basically it was like a version of Ifrit or something like that, like Doom Ifrit or something like that. I don't remember the name of it, but basically it would just one-shot you. You had no way of really combating it, because at the point of that time during the prologue of Duradecim, when you're talking to the Moogle, you had all your stats reset to where you don't have all your gear anymore. Your gear is pretty much gone. Your character, you're not even playing the characters that you would usually have that are maxed out in level. You're playing, I think, lightning or something like that. Yeah, you were pretty much screwed from the get-go. And then the Moogle kind of like, when you fail, the Moogle kind of rubs it in your face like, see, you don't know everything, and da-da-da. And like, so I kind of find it funny how it says here that they're mischievous. They are mischievous. If you talk to them the wrong way, they will actually reprimand you. Yeah, obviously RPGs do that. I mean, Persona, the last game that I remember playing, Persona, honestly, is it really an RPG? Persona freaking Scramble? Persona 5 Scramble? Like, I think that was the last RPG that I played besides Tactica at the moment. Yeah, there was side missions that popped up at like pivotal moments, but the difference between that and this is that it was set in a way that it didn't like detract from the very pivotal moment that it's trying to build up to. Like, if I go and talk to, like, say I'm in the hub area, right? And there's this one mission that pops up, right? And I go and talk to this, thinking that there's nothing there, and the whole conversation is saying, let's go and finish this or whatever with this particular enemy. Then I'm thinking, okay, I'm invested, I'm hyped, let's go and actually settle this. And then all of a sudden get hit with a bunch of side missions before actually going and dealing with that. It completely derails the story, because now if you're a completionist or you're just wanting to do all that additional content right then and there, for whatever reason, just to be more invested in the story, you end up doing that, and you lose track of what actually is going on with the main story. That's what I feel like is the issue here with this game, is that I can understand maybe one or two missions that detract from that, and then you go into it, because Persona 5 Scramble did that, where it would give you like maybe like 3-4 missions total. This game gives you that crap in abundance. I'm looking at 8 missions that I've done, like 5 of them already, and there's probably still more lurking around in the other areas that I haven't explored yet. It just gave me a crap ton of missions to do. Like, it didn't need to give me these many side missions. That's or at least pace it in a way that it's not hitting me all in the face at once. Like, that's the issue with Final Fantasy 16, is that the side missions, it isn't the fact that you're doing the side missions and it takes away from the main scenario, it's the fact of where they place them in the main scenario. Like, if they did it beforehand, or did it spread them out a little bit more better, then it would be easier for you to digest everything and not take away from what the main, like when you're doing the main stuff, what the main stuff is. And it also is kind of dumb that you would go and talk to somebody to continue on the main scenario, only for it to open up and give you all this additional stuff at very, like, kind of awkward moments in the story. If it could have been done literally beforehand, when you go back to, because there's a lot of times where you're out in the field and then you end up going back to the hideaway. Those are the moments where I feel like that would have been perfect. That the story would have been like, oh, there's more missions for you to do because you just returned to the hideaway. Not when I just go talk to somebody for the main story and then all of a sudden just open up to more stuff. It feels weird for it to do that. And I think that's because of the fact this is the first time ever that Final Fantasy does something of like this. And I'm not going to like completely bash on it too hard, but I feel like that it could have been paced a little bit better.
His interests were certainly varied.
That is true. It is still side content. I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, but I feel like it from a developer standpoint, it just like the pacing of it is a little off, and it could be refined a bit. What is this one? Royal Intelliker Collection Report. In the wake of the tragic fire at Sierra Norvent at 833V and the subsequent depletion of the most highly practiced intelligencer. What the fuck is intelligencer? What the hell is that? All mainline strongholds were instructed to redouble training in clandestine maneuvers, improvised weaponry and assassination techniques, dispatch promising volunteers to store her for inspection. These report details progress made by the stronghold at Garnek in reinvigorating Walu's ranks and esteem as intelligencers. What the hell?
This is a Royal Army logbook. Did he take this from the local barracks?
From a distance. Okay, this is the thing we were looking for. I might as well read this because I feel like we're not going to be able to read this once we leave here. Chapter X. Really? Chapter 16? Chapter 16, The Fall of the Bearers. The emergence of the first magic adepts was widely heralded as a gift from the gods. Indeed, the title with which those with the gift came to be commonly known is most likely a contraction of Bearer of the Heavenly Blessing. The wording used by the tribunes of the time. Those born with the blessing were lauded as living crystals and granted high office and plentiful rewards for their status as chosen ones. Over the years, this reverence for their kind would become a full-fledged religion led by the bearers themselves. a development that would prove fateful. The divers nation of the time were unanimous of their disapproval of the founding of the church, while the authorities had for years welcomed bearers into positions of power in their own structures of state. They were mistrusting of the organization led by the bearers. For bearers, efforts were immediately made to chasten the church and its followers, banning members from holding office, evicting adherents from their homes, and breaking up meetings by force. The church responded by forming a volunteer army to resist this persecution, and yet it continued, creating a cycle of ever-increasing bloodshed and rancor, and a growing rift between those born with the blessing and those without. So what? This was all due to jealousy? Bearers were mistreated now because of an inferiority complex of those who didn't have the fucking blessing to begin with? Is that what happened? What began with beating and street clashes would eventually spill over into an all-out war that consumed the greater part of the twins for nigh a generation and decimated the population of man and bearers both. The deluge of blood that stained the land crimson and left an even more lasting mark upon the minds of the Valestian people. After the bearers' last resistance was crushed, the nation of Valestia came together to sign the Contentional Accord that initiated the system of slavery that persists across the realm to this day. Its well-known phrase, bearers are other than human, has its roots in the bitter war of the years before, being the unblessed only accused for their calamitous refusal to allow the blessed to decide their own destinies. So it was basically jealousy that and envy that started a war with the bearers, and it caused the bearers to lose their rights as human beings. That is really fucked up, but at the same time, that is kind of relatable.
This is it. But if what it says is true, I need to get this back to the hideaway.
I feel like somebody's gonna come and try to take that shit from us. Yep.
Leaving so soon, stranger? We've been watching you. From a distance, so to speak.
Subtle. I know who you are.
Then we need not waste time on introductions. Hand me the book. Leave it in our care and return to your life.
Your care? Do you mean to burn it or bury it?
That is not my decision to make. But by one means or another, its contents shall be removed from the common record.
Then I'll have to politely refuse. I won't let you erase our history.
Then we find ourselves at an impasse. Very well. The book can just as easily be pried from your dead hand.
Wow, they really came from the shadows.
Let's see, shall we?
Oh, I was trying to parry that. You're getting that timing wrong. I keep messing up the timing for that. What the hell?
Impressive. But we have other means. We shall claim the book yet.
Why do you want it so badly anyway?
It lays out in no uncertain terms the vanity and avarice of mankind. It tells the shameful history of the persecution and oppression of a gifted few by a giftless many. Would you say that this interpretation was correct?
I don't know.
You don't know. Your sword may be sharp, but your wits are dull. So let me answer for you. There is no correct interpretation of history. That a series of events took place may be proved beyond a doubt. But there can be no single, immutable explanation as to why they came to pass. It is a question of numbers and of belief. If enough people believe that a set of events occurred for a reason, that belief becomes the truth.
So you're trying to control the truth?
We are trying to protect people from themselves, from knowledge that would bring them naught but pain. That is all. You may keep the book, for now. The world is small. We shall meet again. Until then.
Wait.
I mean, there is some truth to that, too.
Damn it.
What is it saying?
Let's get this back to Vivian.
That the victors write history,
She can explain what that was all about.
not the losers? And that is true throughout all of history, actually. The way we write it in books and stuff like that makes it out to be that it's one-sided and that there was just one common cause and that, oh, this was bad or that was bad, but we don't know exactly. When you look at it, in actuality, it's not black and white. It's gray. Lots and lots of gray. You can never say exactly what is the true cause of something or what was the
Ready, go?
bottom line and what was the what was the trigger that actually just set everything in motion. It's always black. It's never black and white like that. All it is just tragedies at the end of the day. Lots and lots of sad tragedies. Okay, what the hell? You could have easily ran over that. Where the avoid these enemies. I believe... Yeah, it's the church that we have to go to and get the record. And then afterwards we have to go and do the last bounties.
I can walk from here. This must be the orphanage. Hopefully the registry is still here.
Needs a key. We don't have the key. We're gonna go look around. Oh wait, it probably wants us to interact first before we can do that.
It's locked. I should look around some more before I start breaking down doors.
In here? The Kingdom of Elude hereby incorporates this institution wherein juvenile bearers are to be granted the opportunity to give themselves in service to the state as soldiers. Any succumbing to the crystal's curse or otherwise perishing are to be disposed of with all haste. The graveyard is strictly reserved for the uncursed. Bearer disposal within its bounds is punishable by death.
Disposed of.
That's condition schedule. Today's exercise will consist of the press yard, 20 sandbags for each duration as instructor shall dictate. The furnace, burn intensity to be gradually increased. Live combat, 1 to 3 hellhounds depending on performance. What the
Conditioning. This is nothing short of torture. Herman wasn't exaggerating. It's a wonder he survived this place. I need to find that registry.
I have recently learned that my own daughter was among the children turned to stone by the brutal training I subjected them to. I had not so much as thought of her since handing her over to the authorities as a babe, but inquiries with the military confirmed it. It was her. I had been torturing my own flesh and blood, and now I see her everywhere. Today, one of the children smiled at me in the hope of receiving a few scraps from my table. It was her smile, the smile she inherited from her mother, the mother I killed for giving birth to a bearer. Their ghosts have all come back to haunt me. My daughters, my wives, all of them. All those children, so many have died at my hand. I can't bear the guilt no longer, and so I have decided tomorrow I too must die. It will be the last order I give those poor wretches, the last torment I subject them to. I will command them to tear me limb from limb, and intern my accused corpse beneath the white tree, those crooked hands which to the sky. What the fuck? I'm reading this all cockeyed. I will command them to tear me limb from limb, and inter my accused corpse beneath the white tree whose crooked hands reach to the skies in supplication. And beside me, my shame, my curse, the record of all their names, all those I've wronged. He buried the thing with him?
This reads like a suicide note. Did the director go through with his plan? There's only one way to find out.
Oh great, we're grave robbing. That's nice.
A forked white tree. This must be the place.
Oh yes, let's dig up a corpse, shall we?
Could he really be buried here? There's something hidden among the roots. Let's see. This must be the registry.
Registry of bearer losses. Hands, 10 years old. Lithification. Lithification? What the heck is lithification? What? You know what? I don't even want to look that up. 9 years old. Succumb to conditioning. Lithification. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try to. Bruno. Bruno Mars? Discipline for attempted flight. Discipline for attempted flight. Succumb to conditioning. Succumb to conditioning. And the list goes on and on and on.
So many names. This place was a slaughterhouse. But where is the architect of all this misery?
Oh god.
It was only a matter of time, I suppose. This place is cursed. Nice try. Nice try. Nice try. I'm done here. Let's get the registry back to Herman.
Alright, that's everything in this area, right? And what about the bounties? Because I already did the one here in Waloed. There's 2 more bounties, and they're in Sambrick. Alright, let's see. The Grim Reaper. Cape, Osiris, and Sambrick. It has to be around here somewhere. Here. It's here. I wonder, is it at the watch? Well, the only place that we can To get close to it, we have to go over here. Let's stock up on stuff before we go.
And what can I do for you? I do like a customer who knows what he wants.
Because the one thing I don't want to do is get caught with my pants down. I don't know how much. I do not know what level this. The Grim Reaper. I'm gonna assume it has to be one of those Akashic enemies, the ones with the scythes. Because that's the only thing that I can think of that fits that description.
Those things didn't fight like men.
All right, over there.
Come on.
Oh, before I actually do confront this enemy, let's play it safe and save. Save. Wait, what? Apparently I had a reward that I didn't get. I didn't claim. Okay, yeah, I need to change my gear. I thought it'd be around here. Might be further up. Wait, hold on. Let's get on the hill real quick. Maybe I can see it from... Just... I'll have to keep going further. Yep, it was one of those enemies. It looks fugglier than its brethren, though.
Not another one. That's better.
level up!
I'm getting tired of these things.
Believe me, you and me both. Knight of Splendid Heart and the Pyramid's Gate? Where the hell's that? Gutter's Gate. Well, it's not going to be on that side, I can guarantee you that. Right here. Okay, so I gotta... So I have to make my way all the way over here, and there's no, like, fast travel. And then with that, we can return back to the hideout. It looks like an ether flood happened over here, so I'm gonna assume that I'm fighting a Kashik-like dragoon. Yeah. Yeah, there he is, just sitting right there, looking pretty. Let's avoid touching him let's avoid going near him real quick. Let's trigger... Yeah, there we go. Trigger the obelisk here.
Thanks, Gal.
My guy's just standing there, like, just menacing and shit. He's just standing there, like, I will not yield. I will not yield to scum. I will stand my ground. But I'm sorry, man, but it has to be this way.
live.
Damn it. Dion would have been glad to have you back at his side.
Alright, that's everything, right? Alright. Damn, what an ordeal. Oh, looks like there's one more thing to do, though. Over here. Though her icon brought her much suffering, the loss of Shiva weighs heavy on her heart, and we would be poor friends indeed if we not seek to lighten that burden. Even but only a fraction before we depart for the skies. I would speak on this more in private.
If Joshua's worried about Jill, I should go and speak with him.
It was no trouble at all.
Clive, you're back. How'd you get on? Any luck?
Any luck, you say?
Crystal's crack. Is this what I think it is? Where in the hell did you find it?
It's a long story.
Right there on the road to Eastpool. Who'd have thought it?
Everything up there's been abandoned for years. The empty cabin made for the perfect shelter. Though I fear my presence may have forced the poor creatures to look elsewhere.
Don't blame yourself, Clive. The Blight's right on Eastpool's doorstep. They'd have had to move on before long, even if you hadn't have turned up. They'll find a new home. Trust me. After all, that's what us endangered animals do. Anyway, what matters is, you managed to nick us one of their quills before they could run off. And now all that's left is to fix it to the carving.
I didn't know you could carve.
Reckon there's a lot you don't know about me. Like the fact I'm as good with a whittling knife as I am with a sword. And that bone Ember gave me's a dream to work with. What did you say it was from again? An Avis?
But it weren't your Avis, Sid. I slew one of my own at last.
So all those long nights in the pit finally bore fruit. I'm proud of you, Ember.
Don't speak too soon. I ain't done my trial yet.
There we go. What do you think?
I think if you ever hang up your scouting cap, you'll be able to make an honest living.
Oh, will I? I should go and see if Ed is awake.
Give it my best.
You can give it to yourself. Come on.
Joshua, I read your message. You're right. Jill is different. I don't think I'd realized how different, but since we returned from Drake's spine, I've felt it more and more.
I suppose it's not hard to imagine why.
She doesn't think she belongs anymore.
And that's why we need to remind her she is still one of us. To let her know that we still need her, now more than ever. That you still need her. But how to do that? When last we were truly close, we were but children.
Of course. Do you remember the time we accompanied Father on his annual tour of the duchy? And Jill and I broke from the procession to ride up Man's Hill.
To see the snow daisies, I remember. It was the first time Father had allowed us to join him. And when he realized you were missing, he had the entire retinue down to the pot boys combing the countryside.
In the rain. A thunderstorm forced us to take refuge in a grove of oaks before we'd even made it halfway there. It was the Lord Commander who finally found us, and needless to say, he was none too pleased.
Then it seems you and Jill have unfinished business. What do you say?
Man's Hill. It's not that far.
Oh, true. Though I suspect it is also much changed. Little in southern Rosaria remains as it was when we were children.
You're saying I should go and scout the area for bandits?
I'm saying we should first go and see if there are actually still any snow daisies left. What would you do without me, Clive?
Uncle, I bring good news. The Field Marshal has agreed to your plan.
Ha! Of course he has. I didn't doubt you for a moment, dear boy.
Rutherford is accompanying him back to your manor in Port Isolde as we speak. They will await your return there. As will one other.
One other? Who, exactly?
Lord Havel was concerned that even if he could get the realm's armies to agree to an accord, he might not be as successful in convincing those with political power. He asked if I might have a solution, and I suggested a certain Imperial Lord Magistrate turned Liberator.
One of your co-conspirators?
Master Quinton would probably call me one of his, but yes.
Another outlaw, then. Just the thing we need to put these rotten politicos in their places. Good thinking, Clive.
I'm glad you approve.
The more the merrier, eh?
Uncle, assuming Havel and Quinton can solve our problem with the armies, you still haven't mentioned how we might manage the grain shortages.
Oh, don't you worry, my boy. The 7 high houses will be seeing to that. They have all agreed to make the most generous of donations. Oh, of course, it did take a little persuasion, but luckily I had some unexpected help.
From who?
Why, you, my boy. Rumor has it that you rescued the Lady Ariane's head steward Rockford from a horde of bloodthirsty bandits.
It was more of a handful.
Well, the old battle axe was so pleased. She had a shipload of talents delivered to my private docks by the next new moon. And when the other houses saw the parsimonious old crone's purse strings finally loosen, they as good as tripped over themselves in the rush to follow suit.
I'm happy to hear it.
Now, I must be getting back to the manor. Join us there at your earliest convenience, would you?
Of course, Uncle.
And how, pray tell, will we get that grain to the capital if the roads are still overrun with akashic?
You'll find another bloody road. I only have so many men, and I'm not about to send them headlong into an ether flood. That is, unless you'd have them turn as well.
Well, I'd certainly eat less.
Says the man with a belly bigger than a band of curls. My soldiers actually need their rations. Without any food to keep them going, they'll be dead even before you've sent them on your fool's errand.
If I may, gentlemen, perhaps I might suggest an alternative approach. Though supply routes are indeed disrupted, there is no shortage of ships. Indeed, they bob away in every bay from here to Randalar, awaiting a safe haven. Allow them to make port and fill their bellies full of grain. And once those who crowd the cities are fed, ferry the displaced back to the countryside to work the fallow fields. But I'm sure that you wish to continue your discussion. Forgive the interruption. Two such firm friends as yourselves need no help from the likes of me. Rutherford spoke fondly of the great bond between you.
Us? Friends?
I can't stand the man!
Clive, I'm beginning to question the quality of the company you keep.
And what kind of company were you expecting him to keep? The man's a criminal!
Criminal? How dare you? You are not fit to breathe the same air as this fine, upstanding young gentleman.
Upstanding? He calls himself Sid the Bloody Outlaw!
Once more onto the breach.
Shall we begin again? What we seek here is not to create a new nation, nor to claim the thrones of those that already exist. We wish simply to bring stability to the realm that mankind might weather the current storm. And to do that, we must convince those in power, the generals, the statesmen, the nobles, that our cause is just. There will be disagreements, yes, and I imagine some resistance, much resistance. But we cannot let that deter us. If we show them the path, show them that we walk it ourselves, then I am confident they will follow. The fate of the world lies in my nephew's hands, but the well-being of her people lies in ours. And we must not squander the chance that Clive has given us.
Uncle Byron,
Now, with that settled, let's move on to the signing of the Accord. For what great moment in history hasn't been accompanied by a little ceremony? Citizens of Valisthea, I present to you the Triunity. Rutherford, Mike Will. Well, my boy, the stage is set.
that it is.
This is the role you were born for. Now I ask only that you trust in the talents of your supporting cast. We shall play our parts to the best of our abilities, that you might have the opportunity to shine. The realm needs its Sir Crandall, and there is no better Crandall than you, Clive. I want you to keep this signed accord as proof of our faith in you.
I will. Thank you, Uncle.
Signed by representatives from Rosaria, Dalmatia, and Sambrek, this mutual accord sets the stage for a new age in Storm, if not official, then at least in spirit. For what great moment in history hasn't been accompanied by a little ceremony? Byron Rosefield. The Breath of Darkness. Reduces Heaven's Cloud cooldown time by 2.5 seconds.
What do you think that thing is? And how the hell is Sid gonna deal with that?
Vivian. I found it. The book you lost.
You found it. Thank you, Clive. Even though I asked this of you, I was not entirely sure it would be possible. I feared the executors had seized every copy.
I met with one of these executors, and I convinced him to let me keep it. He told me something. That the truth is just a matter of collective belief. And that if enough people believe a lie, that lie becomes the truth.
It does. But it also means that the truth is not immutable, that it can be changed, provided that those who wish to change it can convince enough people that their perspective is the correct one. As the sad history of the bearers proves.
You said that the book inspired you to become a scholar.
It did. Or its author, rather. She was a heretic, you see. A firebrand and a dissenter. A gallows stood ready for her in every corner of the realm. And by shunning society, or perhaps being shunned by it, she stumbled upon a truth so potent that an entire realm trembled at the prospect of its utterance. I, too, have always felt somehow set apart from the world of men. A stranger to my own species. She taught me that my solitude was not a curse, but a gift. And that, though my journey to the truth might be a lonely one, what I found at my destination would be more than worth the cost.
Do you still feel that way? That you're not one of us?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure anymore. Since coming to the hideaway, I find my thinking somewhat clouded. Perhaps the result of studying mankind from a rather closer perspective than I had intended. But the more I study, the more I find value in this perspective. In looking not from the outside, but from within. So if you'll permit me, I'd like to continue my work here. Remember, Clive, when enough people believe, belief begets truth. Give the men and women of this benighted world the gift of truth. Make them believe in you, as I do.
I'll try, Vivian. I'll try.
Vivian's Nine-Tails Scholarly Headwear, awarded to her upon the completion of her studies at the University of Canberra. Give the men and women of this benighted world the gift of truth. Make them believe in you as I do. Vivian Nine-Tails. There's no fucking way there's another bounty. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. The Wailing Banshee. I just left Walloon too. Ain't that some shit?
I hear that you traveled to Ash, Sid. Did you by any chance recover the names of my fallen friends?
I did. Yes.
If I may? The Bearer Registry. The director was a brutal man. He got no worse than he deserved.
The registry was all I found beneath the tree. There was no sign of a body. Nor any record of what happened to the children after the orphanage closed.
I pray that at least some of them survived. All their names are here. The ones we lost. My friends. My light in those dark times. I can still remember their faces, like it was yesterday. Children who were taken from their bunks in the morning, never to return. No explanation ever offered.
They'd be happy to know that you survived, Herman.
But why did I make it out alive, when so many others died in that awful place?
It's not your fault. And blaming yourself won't bring them back. Honor their memory. See that their names live on. That way, at least. They're never truly gone.
Thank you. Sid, I'm going to write a book. An account of the horrors of Badbach, and the spirit of those its custodians sought to crush. All of Valisthea will know of our suffering, and in the name of those I lost, I will not let it happen again.
Neither will I.
These records would have been buried for all eternity, were it not for you. Thank you.
Mid, tell me this is all you need.
Aw, you make it sound like I asked you to save the world or something.
Tell me this is all you need.
It's most of what I need. After you left, I went over the figures again, and I realised I'd forgotten a 1 and a 0. And a cogwheel. Just a tiny one. Though, that's the problem. Gears that small are a bastard to make, and I may have lost the one Blackthorn spent a fortnight toiling over.
Wait. The children. When they took apart your scales, there was a tiny brass gear. Now that I think about it, they didn't use it when we put the scales back together.
The young'uns? But why would the... You know what? I don't want to know. I'll keep working on the model. You go and find that cog.
Has Midadol mentioned a new project yet?
Not exactly.
Sid! Is Mid still hiding from us?
She wasn't hiding. She's fine. She's just busy working on her next project.
A new invention? What is it? What is it? Is it an airship? I bet it's an airship!
Do you think she'll let us help?
That just so happens to be why I'm here. She needs something special, something only you three can provide. A brass gear. A tiny one. One that might fit on, say, a set of scales.
Oh, the one you forgot! We remember!
We saved it, just in case. It's in the bag of bits.
Since your lesson, we've been disassembling, then reassembling everything we can find. All the pieces that are left over, we keep under our beds, just in case.
That's good to know.
Oh, God.
Look! I found it! Is that all? Just the gear? We have more parts if Mid needs them.
That's all for now. But I'll let Mid know about your hoard. Just in case.
Thanks, Sid.
Yeah, we're gonna snitch on the kids. Tell them all about the About the shit that they keep piling up.
Well, did they have it?
Oh, I didn't read the description. My bad. Oh well.
They did. And they kept it somewhere nice and safe. Will it work?
Will it work? He's perfect! You're a genius, Clive.
What exactly are you going to use it for?
Only the most important job of all. The wings aren't going to move on their own. But with the right cog in the right place... well, you just wait and see. That should do it. Here goes nothing. Titan's tits.
It wasn't supposed to fly, was it?
Of course it was supposed to fly. Wouldn't be much of an airship if it didn't. Honestly, these bloody engines are driving me mad. I was so sure this would be the day she soared. The mithril engine was made to make dreams come true. But maybe this is one dream the world's better off without. Show folk how to take flying. It won't be long till they're raining death down on each other. People will lose their homes, children, their mums and their dads. Like I lost mine.
I'm sorry.
So am I, Clive. So am I. Sorry that I have to choose. Do I follow my head, or do I follow my heart?
Good question. The first time I stood on the deck of your ship, felt the wind in my hair. It was like I was flying. But imagine how it would feel to actually do it.
My dad always said there were two ways of living life. Chasing a dream or shuffling to your grave. And he were right. Right about a lot of things. Not that I like to admit it. People need dreams to chase. Especially in a world like this. Right. When this is over, I'm gonna take all my mithril engines to Zemeckis and sling them over the edge. I won't have my dream end up turning into someone else's nightmare.
But all that hard work...
All that hard work will not be used for war, Jamie. But it ain't like it'll be gone. Tell me, Clive, have you ever been on a treasure hunt?
Not since Joshua and I were boys. Why do you ask?
Because I'm gonna bury the engine schematics and leave behind a little riddle telling people where to find them. A really hard one, so that only the most dedicated dreamers will ever be able to work it out. Ooh, I can picture it now. Some daft general squinting at the words with a gormless expression on his mug. Like that one, yeah.
Right.
Of course, if I'm putting this engine at the end of a treasure hunt, I'll still need to make it a treasure worth hunting for. Won't be much of a prize if it couldn't even make a toy boat fly after all. My dad always said, dream big. But it ain't the size of a dream that's important, is it, Clive? Only that it's a good one. And I reckon I've got a fair few good uns left in me.
I'm sure you do.
Mid's dangerous dream of flight, immortalized in miniature.
Has Midadol mentioned a new project yet?
Not exactly.
Ah, me lords.
How are you feeling?
Well, thank you. Is something wrong?
Wrong? No, nothing like that. What it is,
Go on, please. It's beautiful. Did you make it?
We did. It's from all of us here at the Hideaway. Your new family, like. It's a good luck charm. We may come up north when a band's on the way. I mean a baby. To let them know that they're part of the family too. Oh, I hope you like it.
I don't know what to say. I thank you, my lords, for everything.
If there's anything you need, just let us know.
I will.
Clive, fancy a swift off? I'm thirsty.
I could be convinced. Don't you think you've had enough?
No, we're celebrating. I'm gonna be a father.
I think Edda might have something to say about that.
You know what I mean. Bit of light in these dark times. Wasn't long after me 10th name day. My mum told us she was with child again. I was over the fucking moon. I was looking forward to having a little one to lord it over. What with me being the runt of the litter. Thought I'd finally have a chance to prove to the world that I could be a big brother. Imperials came the day she went into labour. Had myself a baby sister. And then I didn't. Me whole family gone in a blink, while I hid in the cellar like the spineless little arsehole I was. Great brother I turned out to be. I'll never be a leader. And I'll never be a hero. I'm just a daft little dog who comes running when his master calls. I'll never be like you, or Sid, or Jill, or even Torgal.
Have you finished?
Maybe.
Do you know why you're our best scout? Because you don't need anyone to hold your hand. Without your resourcefulness, your courage, your determination, I don't know where we'd be. Maybe hanging off a cliff like,
That was only the once.
Exactly. You learned from it. And here you are after Founder knows how many missions, stronger for everyone. And let's not forget Rosalith. Who was it who freed me from the dungeon? Who was it who ran to Jill's rescue?
That would be me.
Because you're our brother, Gav. My brother.
Your brother.
Which means that when the time comes,
I get your room. And your sword.
When the time comes when I'm no longer needed, it's gonna be your responsibility, bitch. When I die, you gonna take my place. You gonna take all my burdens.
I may have had one too many.
you may have had 10 too many.
I said I was thirsty. Better get back to work anyway. After I walk this off. Clive?
What is it?
Thanks for, you know.
I know.
Winter mead, a potion portable made from a honey collected in the northern territories. Short summers and fermented slowly over the next 6 moons. Said to warm the belly on the north's cold winter nights. I said I was thirsty. Gaff. Oh, looks like there's another damn side mission. Fuck!
It's usually me making demands of Hippocrates. I wonder what this is about. Lawsman Hippocrates. I received your note.
Ah, yes. I expect you're wondering what this is all about.
You spoke of making amends with Dion, but I can't imagine what for.
Then I should begin by telling you that I was once his tutor. This was some years ago, of course, before I joined Sid in his hideaway. At that time, I was counted among the foremost scholars of Oriflamme, and was accordingly invited to the palace to supervise the young prince's education, all to ensure that the future emperor had a firm grounding in, well, everything an emperor should. History, religion, commerce, government. Alas, our time together was cut short when Dion left to join the Dragoons. His studies no longer being deemed necessary. I had not expected to meet with him again, least of all here.
Have you spoken with him?
No, I have yet to find the right moment. His Highness always seems so preoccupied, especially when alone. I would not wish to disturb his ruminations with idle words of greeting. Not when I know he dwells upon the evil Ultima had him commit in the Dominion.
The guilt weighs heavily on him, I know. But as you say, that was Ultima's doing. Surely you can't blame yourself.
When I first met him, it was not guilt, but his people's expectations that weighed heavily upon him. And I did nothing to ease that burden. He bore it alone, until the day he could not bear it any longer. It is one of my greatest regrets that I only ever offered him my wisdom, when what he truly needed was friendship. The blame for Dion's transgressions lies not only on his shoulders, but on mine.
I see. I'm ready to help you in any way that I can.
Then I beg that you bring me a wild wyvern tail. Apothecaries across the ages agree that even to glimpse such a flower is to be granted inner solace. Fabulists and fraudsters all, of course. But there is oft a seed of truth to be found where even the most outlandish opinions align.
Well, it can't hurt to try. Where can I find this flower? And how will I know it?
You have seen cultivated wyvern tails before, I trust. The lily-white blossoms from whose roots the poisonous ink for the brand is distilled. Well, those which grow in the wild differ only in their purple hue. The harsher the environment in which they are raised, the deeper the color. There is a waterfall in Rickmal's roost across the strait, where the flowers once grew in abundance. Whether they still survive there, I know not. But try as I might, I can find no likelier location.
It's all right. I'll find you a wyvern tail one way or another.
Thank you, Clive. And please, be safe.
Good girl. No need to ride from here.
What? One of these bastards still lives?
Harmon's madness lives on. Rest in peace.
The fact that that it still lived, like those little bastards are still flying around, that was not expecting that.
Good girl. Purple flowers blooming next to a waterfall. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Straight home now.